All right, we're here today, and it is, what is the date, people? I feel like that's the question I always start off with.
I don't know.
It's the 21st.
It's Tuesday.
I felt like mixing that up a little bit, making it a little bit faster, and yeah, that sounded awful. Truly awful.
We'll have to mess with that some more.
Yeah, I have a new co-host for the very first time, people. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Sean Trim.
Hi.
Now say hi like you mean it.
Hi.
Yeah, there you go.
Pretend
Yeah.
like you want to be here.
Yeah. And then my guest is, do I say Drake or Draconis? Because I really want to say Draconis.
Either way, it's fine with me.
Okay, Draconis Von Trapp is here, ladies and gentlemen. And that is just a fun name to say because I don't know anybody by that name.
It is a very original name.
Oh, thank you.
So why don't you introduce yourself? Tell us a little bit about you.
Okay. Hi, I'm Draconis Von Trapp. I am 20 years old, and I am a transgender male belly dancer, and I don't know. I guess that kind of covers all the exciting parts.
Well, you and I were talking before in the show a little bit about belly dancer being a breaking of the gender norm for a male in general.
Yeah.
So tell me, how does that affect how you're perceived as a trans man being a belly dancer?
Well, it's only recently been integrated into my actual performing, where I've actually started performing as a male. And so far, I haven't had a whole lot of positive or negative feedback one way or the other on how I'm received. But all the announcers try very, very diligently to use the correct pronouns. I'll put that in my little announcement, like at the bottom, be like, use he.
Yeah. So outside though, like people who are like, wait a minute, you're a trans guy and you belly dance? You ever
Yeah.
get that?
Well, see, I don't know. It's been a while since I've like come out to someone as like with those two things, like one after the other, and then I just they'll be like, I didn't think guys belly danced, or if it was like before they knew that I danced, or before they knew I was trans, and then afterwards you let them know, and they're like, oh, that's cool, then weird, or my family especially, they thought that was like the kind of the overall comment was, I didn't think guys belly dance, so aren't you going to quit after you transition, or aren't you going to quit soon? And I'm just like, no.
I mean, I actually Googled male belly dancers, and I came up with a few
Mhm.
on YouTube mostly. One named Jesus.
Sean, get closer to the mic.
So sorry. One named Jesus something or another. It's in Spanish. I couldn't understand anything that was being said, but he was quite talented. But I guess what I'm getting at, it does defy gender norms, though, typically for a male to be belly dancing.
Yeah, in general, a lot of people find that odd. Even within the community of belly dancers, people find that odd, which I guess if you look back in time, male belly dancers have always existed. Or at least that's what I understand, is they were kind of around to sort of protect the female dancers. And they didn't, maybe do the same kind of movement, but they were always present, and it's just not in the mainstream. If you Google belly dancing, you're not usually going to find, a big community of males. And so when it kind of pops up, it's always sort of a surprise.
What's that pounding noise I'm getting in the background?
Construction, I guess. It's an apartment. Somebody's working on something.
But okay.
No, we live in a perfectly professional studio. That's just in your head.
It's in everybody's head.
Clarify.
So, Drake, how'd you get started in belly dancing?
Well, I've been going to Scarborough Fair, it's a Renaissance festival, since I was 2 years old, and I'd always seen the belly dancers, and I've always thought, oh, they're so pretty and fancy, and they have all the flowing hair and the skirts and, the spinning and the playing the finger cymbals. And they're always so mesmerizing. But growing up, I'd always kind of thought, a belly dancer was just kind of something you were. It wasn't something that, like, you could become somehow. I didn't realize that there were things like classes and, studios. And then I learned that the belly dancers at Scarborough Fair, which is out in Waxahachie, the studio that supplies all the belly dancers is from a studio in Bedford, which is only 20 minutes away from me. And so I was super excited. And so when I was 16, I started my very first class, and I was actually too nervous to start by myself. So my mom started with me. And that's how I got into it. And then I just kind of fit there. I'd always taken dance classes kind of on and off throughout like middle school and high school. I was a cheerleader for a couple years in middle school. And it just never.
How did you like cheerleading?
That was my kind of question. Like, yeah. Okay.
Well, I every kid, I guess, or most kids have a thing with fitting in and wanting to be popular. And I was always wanting to be like famous and popular, and I just was not ever I never got there popularity wise in school. But, cheerleaders were popular and cheerleaders were pretty, and, they got a lot of attention, and they got to be out on the football field and dance around. And so therefore I wanted to audition, and I managed to get on the middle school squad, which is not entirely, impressive because I was like, 13, but that was the appeal. I quit the beginning of 8th grade, my last year of middle school, because I was just so done with, I'd been in there for a year and a half, and I still had not made any friends, and it was keeping me away from the friends I had made. So I was just like, I don't need to do this anymore.
So I find it interesting as a trans man, and there seems no overall need to be pretty. Not a bad thing. I was saying it just seems interesting. For any man to want to be pretty, it's usually considered to be a gay trait, which isn't necessarily true. But
Yeah.
it is definitely what the heteronormative world would call it.
Ding.
Yeah, there you go. Ding. I like that.
Sorry.
You're referencing
Gender.
Aunt Melanie's
Yes.
bells, yeah.
Yes.
For those of you who don't, For those of you who don't know, Aunt Melanie, my first guest, has this thing at YFT called Gender Identity Night, and we have these bells that you can like hit anytime someone cusses. And heteronormative is one of the things that you can ring the bell for. Also, I graduated from a prestigious private university. You can ring the bell for that as well.
Summa cum laude.
Yeah, summa cum laude from a private.
She will correct you on that.
Yes.
I think the more interesting reference is also that she's my mother, and therefore there's like a interesting connection. That's actually where I originally met Drake. Although you were very, I don't know, I perceived you were very young.
Yeah, you thought I was like 16. I'm like, I'm 18. Now I'm 20.
That's an interesting trait with trans men. So we all look so much younger than we are supposed to be. I think that's a funny, flattering trait in the long run. Like, when I'm older, people are going to assume that I'm still in my 20s, and
Unless you have gray hair. The gray hair will ruin it.
You know, we're not talking about
hair dye.
Dye. Yes,
Hair dye is
dye.
what fixes all problems.
All right, says the guy with the red hair.
Just saying, natural. Hey. It's a lie.
There's nothing natural about that hair color. I would call BS on that, honey.
Yeah.
So,
Whoa.
before we even got started, we were talking about the word tranny and whether or not is it offensive or not.
I don't like it.
Well, Joy, we stated earlier, actually, you don't even know this, back when we were at my apartment, I made a joke that I wanted to make, because they have Drag Queen Barbie now, which isn't really a Drag Queen Barbie, it's just a Barbie that dress is inspired by drag.
That's awesome.
It's very awesome. It's a very pretty dress that I definitely could see a drag queen wearing. But I was like, I joked around. I said, you know what? I want to make transgender tranny Barbies, and I'll just, put Ace Bandon over Barbie and cut off her hair and call her Bobby. And some other things. But she was like, I don't like that word. And then you brought it up with your friend. So, I mean, what are your feelings on the word, and how is it socially acceptable, if at all?
Okay, well, my opinion on the word tranny as being derogatory is kind of my opinion on all words that are supposed to be considered derogatory towards one minority or group of people or whatever. And the fact that, sticks and stones and all that, those kinds of things never bothered me. And would I just say it out loud in front of someone who I wasn't sure was okay with it or not? Probably not. I'd try to, be respectful and not like purposefully offend anyone, try and be tactful about it. But personally, like if someone, like my brother does that all the time, my older brother Merlin, he'll just slip out the word tranny or whatever in conversation. And sometimes if I'll have a friend over, they'll wonder why I'm not infuriated. And I'm just like, oh, whatever. He's just stupid. I don't care. Doesn't bother me.
So is your brother accepting of you, or is he just teasing you? Or?
Oh, he's always just teasing me. We actually, even though we kind of have tiffs every once in a while, he's like, I'm the man of the household and I'm the oldest, so you have to do what I tell you.
Oh, the oldest card. I tried pulling that quite often, and because I'm the oldest of 7 children, and it doesn't work.
Yes. And as the youngest, I'm supposed to listen, and now before I did, and now I'm an adult. Just like shut your face. But no, he's always been. Not necessarily he hasn't always been accepting. He did eventually get over himself. There was a brief period of time, like a month, where he was very, like right as I started like hormone therapy, where he was like really, really resistant and was just a dick all the time. And he actually, me and my brother were raised like we didn't fight and like physical fighting. We never were raised around violence at all. So the fact that he at one point said that, mom's not home and I could kick the shit out of you if I wanted to because apparently I was being cocky about something, kind of scared the crap out of me. And after that, I called my mom and started crying and I left the house. And then he ended up leaving a message on my phone. He's like, I'm sorry about all that. I was just angry and I didn't mean it. And that's not how you treat your family. And after that, it was totally.
So that sounds
totally
something
fine.
that a mother forced to record on. No offense, but like it's not the way you treat your family. That sounds like something a mother would say.
Sounds like it, yeah.
But okay, so we talked a little bit about how you portray your gender identity, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's safe to say, and you correct me if I'm wrong, you identify as an effeminate male. Yes.
Well, see, it's always something that I've never really thought about a whole lot because. Before, when I was beginning my transition, I was coming out to all my family members, especially my grandparents. All they saw before, of course, since they don't see me very often, was, oh, you're such a girly girl, and so you can't possibly at all identify as male because the fact that you like to dance and you have your hair dyed and you have flower tattoos makes a difference, and just silly things like that, and. But my gender therapist had always kind of told me from the beginning that, there's no magical like trait that you have to be trans and that, there's not one box that you have to fit in and that there are all sorts of, feminine, masculine, they can kind of be interchanged and just a mixed bag in everybody. So it's not, a big deal, I guess. And so I'd never really thought about identifying more masculine or feminine one way or another. I knew that I was more male than female on the gender spectrum, but most of the time I just kind of fall sort of neutral. And it's just feminine-wise, I do tend to probably lean that way just because of, I don't know, natural tendencies. I just do. But
I myself identify as a masculine male with effeminate traits. Because I have no problem watching Desperate Housewives and sewing.
Hell yeah.
And personally, like, I don't even think about that, like the way you do. Like, I'm a masculine male who has feminine traits. I'm like thinking to myself, okay, how would I fall in? I can't even think about that. It's so complicated.
I mean, at some point, it gets ridiculous with the amount of labels that are out there.
Mm-hmm.
It's true. Mainly, that's my joke, is because I don't know shit about makeup or dancing or clothes all that much, although I do care about how I dress.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just like, no, I'm too masculine for that. It's just not for me. But then we talk about a lot of people don't realize that there's separation between gender identity and then sexuality.
Oh yeah,
and
that's the big one.
We were kind of having a little small debate about sexuality a few minutes ago.
Small.
I enjoy. I've been going at it for off and on for a week now. Off and on.
Yeah, off and on about pansexuality versus bisexuality. And like, I always say, just go with bisexuality, because pansexuality, no one outside the LGBT community will know what the crap you're talking about.
I personally, I identify as basically pansexual, or someone who goes after feminine energy, but like the dating websites, I just put bisexual because really it's way too complicated. But like,
Because then you're going to have everyone being like, what's that mean? And you have to go through Pan 101 with everyone.
Yeah, and Mary Gonzalez, who's running for the Texas state legislator, who's a Democrat, she came out as originally bi and then came out as pansexual, because she said, "Oh, I don't feel like bi. I don't feel like the word bi is appropriate because of the gender binary and blah 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 blah." She went on and had a whole list of reasons. I was like, how can someone analyze it that much? And then the Huffington Post, somebody wrote an article in kind of response to how bisexual isn't a bad word. And it's just this is so complicated, people.
do you think there's a taboo on being a bisexual person?
Definitely. I've always had an opinion of it. It's changed throughout the years because I used to, when I was in middle school or in high school, I'd be like, bisexuality doesn't even exist. People just say that because of one thing or another. It's you at the end you end up leaning one way, so who's perfectly in the middle? No one. And
I actually kind of used that argument against her earlier. I was like, how bi literally means 50-50. So I mean, everybody tends to lean towards one or the other. So I don't really feel like the word bisexually really fits anybody.
Yeah.
In the world.
And my friend Chelsea, my fag hag, she identifies as asexual but biromantic. And so she will say she doesn't mind, because I guess some people are kind of weird about, I don't know, holding hands and cuddling with people of the same or opposite sex, and I don't know, they find it has to have some sexual tie to it, or I have to be attracted to you in order to want to, share a milkshake with you, or whatever. And so she has always, like I said, she's my platonic wife. So when we walk around in public, we kind of look like a couple because we're always holding hands or sitting, in the same chair, sharing it, just things like that. But that was one of the things that I always thought, it made more sense. You be straight, but biromantic if you're not ever gonna.
Can you do me a favor and
Yes.
explain asexual to anybody on the radio show?
I don't know.
Who may not know
Let's
what
see.
it is.
I
Not
know.
sexually attracted to people in general.
I think it's
That's
different for everyone. And it's really not very common in younger people, from what I understand. Just because this is what my friend has told me. I disclaim myself. I'm not an expert on asexuality because I am not one, nor am I a sexologist or anything. But what Chelsea has told me is that she does not have the desire to have sex, not just with boys or girls, just in general, just doesn't feel the urge. But she does want companionship. So she does have a boyfriend, and it's all, that we like to call it an intellectual relationship because there's nothing else happening. And
So it's a
I don't
strictly
think I could do
platonic
that.
romantic relationship.
well, they have feelings for each other, lovey-dovey, blah blah blah. It's just she doesn't, open her legs, I guess. I mean, I haven't asked, lots of questions about that, but
Yeah, right.
that's what I'm assuming.
I mean, I don't think I could do a relationship like that. I understand putting presence of romance over sexuality.
Mhm.
That one I understand, but I need both. So no, I have a hard time understanding every time somebody says they're asexual, especially when they're young.
Yeah.
I'm just like,
But
okay.
I mean, I hate being somebody that says crap like, "Oh, it's just a phase. You'll find the right penis one day, and it'll change your life." Because
The right-
people have said that kind of crap to me growing up when I was before I was trans identified, and I just thought, "Oh, I'm just kind of a girl or something." And I was like, "Oh, I like girls. I'm a lesbian." And then my mom would be like, "Oh, it might be a phase." And the trans thing, my grandma's like, "Oh, I hope it's a phase." And so I hate being someone that likes to say that, but when you're so young and you have so little experience and all that kind of stuff, it's really hard to not want to suggest that. And as the platonic husband, I wouldn't tell her that because it's not supportive, but
Right. Yeah.
I hope that she finds the magic one day.
So you were interviewed by the Dallas Voice recently. How was that? And for those listening who don't know what the Dallas Voice is, the Dallas Voice is like it's like the Dallas Morning News for the queer community in Dallas, or more like the Dallas Observer. But if you don't know what the Dallas Voice is, you probably don't know what the Dallas Observer is. So
It's the gay newspaper.
Yeah, the gay newspaper
That's
for
what I
Dallas.
call it.
Like
It's
queer-
LGBT.
Yeah. So what was that like being interviewed by the Dallas Voice?
Well, the thing was, I wasn't actually interviewed. I was, okay, so I used to be an intern at the Dallas Voice last summer. And so the editing department already knew who I was. And the ex-senior editor, her wife dances at my studio. And so I've always just kind of known her. And since we had this big belly dancing convention just this past weekend, to promote it, we were trying to get all these articles written, and I know something in the Star Telegram was written, and so they wanted to advertise in the Voice. So she asked if I wanted to write something for it, just like a little 600-word whatever. And so I was like, oh yeah, sure. He's like, aren't the new senior editor, or not the editor, but the lifestyles editor would be contacting me soon. I'm just like, okay, yeah. And then he asked if I just wanted to do a first-person narrative sort of thing and just sort of write about myself, and they'd hawk the event in a little sidebar. But, just take it from the angle of, oh, what does a tattooed and pierced belly dancing trans man have to say about growing up in the gender binary, take it
Right.
from that. And I'm like, all right, well, here we go. And I was very surprised, actually, after it was published, how very little it was changed. Because when I would publish things before, sometimes the editing would be so extensive. It's like, I would never use the word panache, but now it's in there. And
What does that mean?
I don't know. That's why I don't use that word.
Panache?
Whatever. But
I love talking to people and they use a word that I don't know.
I'd be like,
I'm like-
dictionary.com app on my phone here.
Right? Yeah. Seriously.
I'd be doing that sometimes.
So you mentioned that you were an intern with the Dallas Voice. What was that like? How old were you when you were an intern there?
I was 19, and
So it was last year.
it was, just this last year. It was like from June till October or something like that.
We were talking earlier, and you told me we Googled you. Obviously, I told you before.
I've
we
been
interviewed-
Googled.
Yes, you've been Googled.
Oh, was
And
it the
things-
Harry Potter thing?
Yes.
Yes.
We were talking about the Harry Potter video that you did for the Dallas Morning News, and you told me that
Mhm.
was during your internship.
Mhm.
You look so much younger then than you do now.
I don't think so. I thought it wasn't that big of a difference.
I mean,
It
to
was-
me, okay, well.
Eh.
Anyway, to me, you look older.
Commercial break.
Maybe it might be the hair color. I don't know.
Yeah.
But so you're obviously an avid Harry Potter fan. Are there any other
Okay, for those of you who did not see the video, Drake,
Google
tell us,
it.
tell us what you did on the video with the wand and the cape and the
Oh my
hat.
God, that was so painful filming that, because that was actually filmed in my garage, and the
Oh, that looked like your bedroom. That's your.
I thought it was your bedroom too.
the most of the interview, like the talking part, was definitely in my bedroom, but that sounds dirty. Jesus. I was interviewed in the bedroom, and but the swishy wand flicking thing when I was that, and I don't take it there, okay? But all the spinning with the cloak on was done in my garage. But I was saying that part was painful because the videographer was also an intern. And he's like, oh, well, this is, one of my first assignments. So let's have fun and try all these different things. And it was like 5 million degrees in my garage. And he wanted me to spin around and yell all these spells. And of course, I went, brain fart and forgot all the spells that I knew in my brain, but so we were filming for like 30 minutes in my garage, just me spinning and flicking and trying to look excited and stopping at different points to find the best angle on the video, and it was that part was not fun because I was all sweaty and gross afterwards. But the interviewing part in my room was not bad. I felt like much like I am now, just going. Blah, 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 blah.
What was that? What was that noise?
No, I'm not gonna do it again.
You seem very, very knowledgeable about the subject. For anybody who wants to see the video, go ahead and Google Drake
Draconis Von Trapp, Harry Potter. Just do that, and you'll find it.
You will find it. It is very entertaining. So you're a Harry Potter fan, and usually people that are a Harry Potter fan are also fans of other such nerdy things. So is there any other TV show or video game even? I don't know.
Well, see, what I tend to do in life with things that I like is I'll find and I'll latch onto something, and I just kind of feed off of it for a really long time.
Like a leech?
Exactly.
Obsession. I love it.
Ugh. I don't ever get like super, well, in my opinion, I don't get, because I meet people a lot crazier than me at Harry Potter conventions and stuff like that, where they're like, I've read the books 20 times, and I'm like, I read them once, but they're good. I like them. I have a cloak, but
I have a cloak.
yes.
I like that.
So I don't tend to get like a lot of things that I'm super into like that. Harry Potter, the reason that was so significant for me was because before I really started transitioning and discovering like my identity and, you know, sounding all dramatic and all that, I joined a Harry Potter club when I was 15 and I'm still part of it. And I'm now the co-admin, so I get to organize stuff. That was my happy I get to organize stuff dance. And
I like it. I think I'll steal it.
And it just really helped me kind of like grow into my being, and I was not social at all before, and then, you know, all these people, I was around the same people all the time and got more social, and, you know, now I'm just like,
You told me you were homeschooled, which I can relate to. I was also
Yes.
homeschooled. So you didn't have a lot of like teenage friends, or just a few.
yeah, I just had my Chelsea since I was 13. We've been married for a very long time now.
Wow. Plutonic marriage. That sounds very interesting.
Yes. What I was gonna say with the TV shows or video games, the video game I've latched onto that I've fed and kicked off of for a really long time has been the Left 4 Dead series. So playing Left 4 Dead 2 every day, and killing zombies.
Okay, that's what I thought. I was like, wait a minute. Zombies, maybe?
Zombies. I kill them all. And the only other TV show that I've been real into, it's not sci-fi, but while I've been doing a lot of costuming, I've really gotten into like hand sewing a bunch of my belly dance costumes, and because they cost hundreds of dollars to buy them, so I'm just like, I will make them for half the price, but it's a lot of work. So in order to make it not so painful, I've just been watching like every episode of Burn Notice, and so I've pretty much watched like every season 20 times by now, and just kind of off in the corner while I'm stitching on Fringe and stuff like that. So
I know that is. We're doing this little ACON thing with our version of ACON, basically with Transmigration. We're all going to meet up and cosplay and have a little party. And
You're invited.
Yes, you're definitely.
Hey.
Everyone is invited. Everyone.
do I have to wear a shirt?
Actually, no.
No.
No, you don't.
Yes.
Well, tops and bottoms are required.
Does a fishnet top
We've
count?
never
Yes, a fishnet top counts, yeah.
Fishnet, yes, we've actually had that debate. A fishnet top does count.
Yay me.
But I'm going as a Vulcan, so I'm making my own costume.
When is that again?
It's not this Thursday, but the following Thursday. And before that, we're having a clothing drive. Clothing drive starts at 6:30, and the actual TransCon's going to start about 8, 9 o'clock. We never start anything on time,
Who does?
right? Like, I think
This
we
was
were
supposed
like-
to start at
Oh,
5.
the
and
Right.
president.
No,
I actually do know this. The president's wake-up calls actually start on time because it's done by the Navy's like exact time thingy that they have, and it gets really complicated on how they do that. And it's like the same guy that wakes him up every single morning at like, I don't know, 6 in the morning, 5 in the morning, whenever he wakes up.
What are you talking about?
The president, like his wake-up call. I'm gonna switch my camera angle to me. Like the president's wake-up calls have to start like exactly on time to basically start his day. So it's done by like the Navy's. I am blanking on the word of it, but the Navy has this like certain military time thingy that they think is like exact, quote unquote, because they use satellites and whatnot. And so yeah, the president has an exact wake-up time to starts his day on time.
Wow. So basically, Barack Obama cannot push the snooze button.
No.
That would suck.
Yeah, dude.
I don't even like my snooze button because you only get like an extra 3 minutes of sleep, so you don't ever actually really sleep well after that until it's like wake up again.
You know, you can set your snooze to like 20 minutes, up to 20 minutes.
Mine doesn't.
What I do is I like set like 3 alarms. Like there's the first one, and then there's the second one that's like 5 minutes later, and then there's the one 20 minutes later where I'm like, okay, I actually have to get out of bed before I'm late.
Yeah, my a girl that used to work at my school, she had one alarm on her phone that she would snooze like 5 times, and then there was a actual alarm clock across the room that she had to get out of bed to turn it off.
That's what I do. My alarm clock is my phone, and it's plugged in across the room, so I have to get up out of bed to turn it off. And by that time, I'm just like, oh, there's no point in me going back to bed.
Yeah, that's how my boyfriend. That's how he always had his phone set. We'd be in bed, and his was on his desk, and only he would lay in bed for like 5 minutes while it's going off, and that was not okay with me.
Right,
Like,
because
go.
you wake up.
Turn off your fucking phone.
So how long have y'all been dating?
Like 4 months ish, I think.
Hopefully he's not watching.
No, whatever. He's in Pennsylvania now, college.
So it's a long distance relationship at this point.
As of Monday, yes.
Oh, I'm sorry.
That has a sad.
Well, you know, yeah. Just plenty of phone calls and maybe visits. Yeah.
It was so funny. He talks and does strange things in his sleep. And one time I could not sleep at all, and he was just laying in bed, and he's like, just randomly like, you can come visit me anytime. And I just kind of was like, what the hell are you talking about? He's like, I don't know. I guess. And then went back to bed. Just like, Sam.
Wow.
So he wakes up randomly to tell you things?
Apparently. That's the only time I've been awake to hear it, though.
Oh, wow.
Only what's really funny is he kind of like swallows me in bed because he's like 6'4" and is like super buff, muscular. His shoulders like out to here, and so I like fit within him. So if he's yeah, so if we're spooning and he's got his upper body curved, it just kind of like is all over me, and so he's got his arm around me. It's like I've got a man just schlumped all over me. And sometimes it's kind of nice,
That
but
sounds
sometimes
comfy.
Yeah, I was about to say.
Sometimes-
like a cigarette.
sometimes it's nice, but sometimes I'm just like, Sam, you're heavy, and it's hot. Get off me. But he like smacks his lips in his sleep sometimes, so I'll just be like laying around, and then he'll, and I'm just Sam.
Like an old man.
I like elbow him all the time.
Like an old man eating applesauce.
Yes,
That's awesome.
yes. So that is. I don't know how we got around to that part in the conversation,
I
but
don't
here you
know.
go from Harry Potter to
Harry Potter to
Sleeping with my boyfriend.
with your boyfriend to
Hey,
piercings.
does that ever
Yeah.
collide?
Piercings and tattoos. Let's talk about piercings and tattoos.
I have a lot of them.
You do. I see 4 on your face, probably in your ears too. So it's
Oh
like
yeah,
6,
like
7.
move your hair back so we can see it better.
Please.
I don't. 2 of my earrings are not in at the moment, but
Oh,
let me
wow.
get my glasses off. There we go. I have 19 piercings total.
Wow. And most of them are on your face, I'm assuming.
Most of them are in my head, yes. My belly
Yes.
button and my right nipple is pierced.
Oh, just the right one.
Just the right
You
one.
didn't do both?
Joy said the same thing.
I'm one of
I
those
told
people.
her.
Like,
That's right.
I have one part of my lip pierced. I'm like, I have to get the other side done because now it's just like, I feel uneven.
Feel unbalanced. Yeah. My mom has that issue. I'm all about like the asymmetrical balance in life. And so, because I've got like 6 piercings in one ear and 4 in the other, but they're all kind of spaced out the same way. So I'm like, oh, see, it's balanced. It's just asymmetrical or whatever. And my mom's like, you need to get more in the other ones so it all matches. And it really bothers her.
I love that your mom is that supportive about your piercings. Most moms like flip out.
Oh, yeah. My mom is the most chill person ever. She's got more tattoos than I do. So she gives no fucks.
So I would imagine that your parents are rather liberal with you transitioning and everything.
Well, my mom, both my mom and my dad, when I was like 16 and I decided to like tell them about how I was feeling at that point, my dad was just kind of not particular one way or the other. And my mom was at first very much not happy about it. And then after my dad died and I told her I wanted to start transitioning, she had a lot of problems with it at first because she's like, I just lost my husband and now it seems like I'm losing my daughter too. And, she'd start crying and then I'd start crying and then I'd feel really bad. But then once I got the go ahead, she did end up very quickly kind of getting it together. And now she's like, that's how I used to feel. But now I realize, you're still here. You're still the same person. You just got a different name and, now slightly different features, but
Right. Yeah.
and she actually co-signed on my Care Credit account so I could put my chest surgery on a payment plan. She was actually my co-signer since I didn't have any credit.
Oh, really?
Mhm.
That's very interesting. I didn't know you could do that.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna talk to you later.
I give you the hookup.
Yeah, right.
I had an interesting experience with tattoos and piercings. When I got my tattoo of a blue peace symbol, very generic, very simple first tattoo on my left shoulder. It was also very small and cheap. My parents didn't really react much. Dad was like, you can't give blood now because I'm like, Dad, I can't give blood anyway because I'm on this, and this medication. And I was like, oh, okay. But when I came home one day with my ears pierced, they're like, whoa, have you been feeling this way for a long time? I'm like, we've already had this gender conversation. Yes.
Y'all just absent
Yeah.
before?
Did you not pay
Calling
attention?
sick?
Yeah, and then I had, my piercings for a while, and then they just closed up really quickly, so I have to get those pierced again. Although I have really cool, metallic earrings, so I'm like, I need to get them pierced again. I have to wear those.
Go to Skin Art Gallery. They do the best piercings.
Skin Art Gallery?
Plug. Yes, they do all my piercings.
I see.
Oh, cool.
I think it's pretty funny. I remember when my stepmom took me to go get my ears pierced, my dad threw a fit. I was all of 4.
Mm-hmm.
And I get my ears
wow.
pierced. Yeah, I lived with my mom where everything was like, this kid can do whatever they want, I even told her my hair was too long. She'd stick a ball in my head and cut it off, and she didn't really give a crap. And then I wound up living with my dad because my mom had a drug problem. And, my dad, it was heteronormative city. All of a sudden, I was wearing dresses, and my stepmom went to go get my ears pierced. But see, my dad's like a strict religious rabbi, and you're not supposed to pierce your ears.
Oh, I did not know that.
Well, it just depends on how strict you're going to be. It's one of those, I'm going to roll my eyes. But honestly, I didn't think I would enjoy it even now as an adult, but now I have my ears pierced. It's just, I think every parent reacts differently. You should never have your ears pierced. You should. It doesn't matter. Honestly, if I came home with a tattoo, then all hell would break loose. All hell break loose. So I think it's funny your parents, react more to your tattoo.
No, they reacted more to the pierced ears than the tattoo, which
That's
shocked
funny.
the hell out of me.
Yeah, I always think that's funny when parents react that way because it's like, okay, a tattoo is kind of permanent and you can take out a piercing and you're fine. But, oh no, metal. It's, I don't know. I don't know what it is. I think it's funny, though, that you said that your first tattoo, you said, something small and cheap, and my first tattoo was something huge and expensive and painful.
Ooh, where is it?
It is on... It's kind of hard to describe. It's like across my panty line in front and on the sides of my
You can
hips.
show us if you want,
Yeah, I can take my pants off.
Go
No.
for it.
Oh.
Yes, go for it.
Okay,
Sean,
okay.
down, boy. Down. I'm going to let this happen. This is happening.
I get to do this on camera?
Yeah, go for it. It's
Did
Deep
I
Elm on
wear-
air. Go
okay,
for it.
I did wear underwear today. Good.
I did wear underwear. I love that comment.
Now I've got... I wore like 12 shirts also. There we go.
It says, life is too short and death is too long. I like
Yes.
it.
Ooh.
You got those
cool.
Texas stars on there.
Big stars.
That was painful?
Oh. It's not my...
Don't talk right now. You're not near the mic.
I'm not.
I can't hear you.
I just realized
I can hear
that.
it. I can hear him.
No,
It's
but
fine.
I have to hear it on here.
No,
There you go.
it was not my most painful actually, but it was my first. And apparently, my tattooist thought I was crazy when I was like 18, coming in. I'm like, I want this huge, gigantic tattoo as my first tattoo, and she's getting paid like $400 for it, so not gonna argue a whole lot. And
Any other tattoos?
I have a lot.
Well, he did say first tattoo.
Oh yeah, you did.
First.
Don't you have like one somewhere on your hand somewhere?
Yes, I have 2 on my hand. I have a cupcake and a heart. Me and a few of my female family members have the same heart. So we can like put our hands together and make little heart shapes, and it's cute.
That's cool. That is cool.
Yeah.
And I have my dad's portrait tattooed on my arm, but I can't really take this shirt off or else I'd show you.
I was gonna say something and I lost it. Damn it.
You lost your thought.
Yeah, I lost my thought.
That is tragic. To
Thinking
lose
is
one's
a
thought.
dangerous pastime.
I can think of many dangerous pastimes.
So, as far as belly dancing competitions, is there competitions you go to or just showcases? I mean,
Oh,
how
hell
does-
yeah. I haven't lost yet.
Haven't lost
Shit.
yet.
No, I have 3 first places.
Oh wow.
Bam. 2 solo competitions, and I just won a duet trio competition with my partner, Ayana, and we together are Obsidian Mystique.
Interesting.
Fancy. Yes.
So I'm guessing you're like ranked up there somewhat.
I don't know how well known I am. at
I don't know. The
moment.
queer community knows who you are in Dallas because
Apparently.
of the article that was written.
That's exciting. It
Yeah.
makes me happy. You know, just deliver that to like all the news stations and
Yeah.
newspapers in the world, and just let it. Then I can become famous. And no, I'm just kidding. Except that I'm not. No, but I'm not probably that well known in the belly dance community because it is a lot bigger than it seems to the outside world. There is a group called the Belly Dance Superstars, which is a traveling international troupe. But they, I've won a few competitions, but I've only been in the business for like 4 years, so it's not been a long time, but I am going to as many competitions as I can. I'm actually going to one in Miami called the Rockstar
Miami, Florida, or Miami, Ohio?
Florida. I didn't know there was one in Ohio.
There is like when I watch college sports, sometimes they'll have Miami and then like OH in like parentheses.
And everyone's like,
What?
why did they spell Florida wrong? And then
It's kind of like
Creepy doop.
there used to be this radio station way back in the day. I remember like hearing it when I was like a little kid, and they would go, "It's hotter than hell in Texas," and they would call up this place in Michigan called Hell,
Mhm.
and they'd ask them how hot it was there, and they'd give them some, of course it's Michigan, so it's cold.
Yeah.
Right? And they're all like, "Yeah, it's hotter than hell today in Texas."
Hell, Michigan. I want to visit that at some point. That's just added to my bucket list right there. Hell, Michigan. I want to go to hell someday,
I wanna go to hell.
and then come back.
Right. I'm Jewish. I don't believe in hell.
I've been to the depths of hell and I've escaped.
It's rather
That's what I'm
chilly.
gonna do.
I recommend a fur coat.
Yes, and when they say a snowball's chance in hell, it's a pretty good one.
I love that. I love that. I love that. That's awesome. I'm gonna remember that one.
Oh.
Yeah, it's been a great episode.
Lots of chit chat.
Yeah, and a lot of laughing. That's great.
God, I don't.
Did you lose your thought again? It's
Yes.
the second time in a row. That's like 2 thoughts
My blood
lost.
sugar. My blood sugars.
There's sugar right there.
I just ate some. It'll kick in.
Like when? It was 40 minutes ago.
Just now. Like I was eating it while we were talking.
Oh, okay.
I totally.
Okay.
He's testosterone, you very, very quickly metabolize things and you go through sugar like crazy. And
I'm on 3 years now, though.
Really?
Yes.
When did you start growing facial hair?
Pretty quickly.
Because I've been on it for a year and a half and I have nothing.
Actually, I had a mustache before I even started testosterone, a very small one.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it didn't take very long. But my father also is nicknamed Chewbacca because there's not an inch on that man's body where there isn't like carpet. And I'm slowly, I'm getting depressed actually because there's too much hair now. Because I'm actually starting to grow hair in the parts where hair really shouldn't be growing, like in that little bald spot. Now hair is growing there.
Can you tell where I'm hairy?
Hold on.
I have a guess, but it's rather inappropriate.
It's because it's because I wax. No. I'm just
Oh
kidding.
wow!
Except that I'm not kidding. But not my arms though. No hair.
But,
Nothing.
I mean, the best tell is
No
your
hair growth.
siblings or your dad. Like, how hairy are they, and which family members do you take most traits from?
Yeah, and technically, I know you get hair growth from your mom's side, and so I've tried to pay attention. My mom, of course, doesn't have any siblings, so I've been trying to look at like my grandpa, but he's 70 something, so I'm not that old yet,
Well,
so
old
it's not going to be
pictures or
accurate.
whatever.
And he was, I've seen the picture of him when he was like 16. He was just clean.
Honestly, before testosterone, I took after my mom's side, and because I don't think that's true about the hair growth. I think it just depends on which family you tend to take most of your genetics from.
I'm just saying what the cosmetology school textbook said.
Right. I mean, like, honestly, like, before testosterone, I took after my mother's side on most of my genetics. Only I carried a few of my father's traits. Like, I have my father's eyes. My mom was blind, so I'm lucky.
That is,
Yeah, I have
it's a good
50% chance. My other sister that's on my mom's side is blind.
oh no.
Yeah, it's I had a 50-50 chance. So I was the 50 that got lucky, I guess, in a sad way. But then when I started testosterone, all my father's end of my genetics started showing up. The Irish, Scottish, German side. Everything started physically appearing, all the hair especially. So I honestly, if you looked at a picture of my father, you'd be able to tell that he was my father. I
Mhm.
look exactly like him, only 5 feet and thinner. So yeah, whatever side of family you feel like you take your genetics mostly from is probably the one you need to look at, and that's what I tell people when they ask me.
I'm really not sure at this point, since
I mean, it's not bad to be a
Nothing
hairless
has-
twink. I mean, it's okay.
I know it's just a little part of me that's like, I want to be manly looking.
Do you want a goatee? You want a little
Actually, even if I did grow facial hair, I'd probably shave it because I hate facial hair.
I could just see it.
But it frustrates me that I can't even I had 2 hairs. They're like, I'm a beard that were growing under my chin.
So
that-
basically, you want like a 5 o'clock shadow.
that'd be okay. I'd be okay with that.
5 o'clock show.
I'd be fine with that.
For some reason, I can see you with a little evil goatee. Going,
No, I'm-
"Whoa."
I'd grow the Frenchy mustache and I would twist up at the ends. And then I would talk in an accent all the time.
Epic
Wouldn't
mustache.
it be an accent that anybody recognized from any particular country, but I would have an accent. And it would sound like this.
Yeah, you're right. I can't pin that to any particular country.
It is because I made it up.
For some reason, you sound slightly like Hispanic and then at the same time British, all at the same time. So it's very confusing.
It's magical. And then I randomly burst out with that.
It's magical, bitch.
Believe.
No, what you do is you tell them you're from a country that nobody knows exists, like Macintosh. There's a country called Macintosh. It exists.
What continent?
Oh God, I googled it once. It's in, I think, Africa. Like the continent of Africa. It's a very tiny country. I think. I'm not saying for sure, but I remember googling it. Google it.
I don't even know how to spell Macintosh.
Down in Africa.
It exists. It's just,
Go on. That was kind of nice.
No, I can't sing.
Yeah,
That's
you
the only
did.
part of that song that I know is Africa.
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 Oh,
Anyway,
you gefilte fish. So, as a dancer, have you ever done any drag?
yes.
Either way.
Yes, I have. When I've done cosplay at the anime conventions and the Harry Potter conventions, I have done the stipple sponge where I've made fake stubble, so I look like scruffy, and I have been in one drag show where I was dragged as a female, and that was the only time I've ever done it, and I wore these horrible heels that are so uncomfortable, and I almost fell on my face, and my toes were numb for a week, and my makeup was terrible, but did that once at S4.
What prompted you to
Oh,
do
what do
drag at S4?
Well, me and 2 of my friends, Daniel and Elliot, we...
Elliot Puckett.
Yes.
Of
I remember
course.
Puckett.
Love my Elliot.
I gotta get him in sometime on the
He
show.
always wears the biggest high heels in the world. I'm like, how do you walk in those things?
He's like, "'Cause I'm a fierce bitch."
Yeah, pretty much.
That's
yeah.
what he do.
Yeah.
And because I'm a bad bitch. But yeah, he calls me Drake and Poodle. Or just Poodle sometimes.
Okay, well now I know who he's talking about when he talks about poodle on his Facebook status.
Yes. It is me. I am Poodle. But him and me and Daniel all kind of knew this routine. And so, this dance routine. And so we decided that, we should do a drag trio at the amateur night, and we'll take the prize because we're bad bitches. And we never really practiced together, and we didn't even have our music when we got there, and we look all broke down, crappy makeup, nappy wigs, and our costumes were very unglamorous. Mine was just like random pieces of dance costumery that I had, and I'm just like, here, and I put one of my mom's bras on, and I stuffed it really far out, and I'm like, look
So
at
it was, like,
me,
really
I'm
bad.
dancing.
I'm assuming you did not win the prize.
No, we did not win a damn thing, but it was fun. And it was kind of mean, though, because I did almost fall on my face in those heels, because I've never worn heels before. And so I'm in these 6-inch platform heels. Like, the heel had a platform on it. And we do this move where we stand off to the side, we go like that, and flip the hair and flip up. And when you do that, and you lose all your balance, and you're in these heels, so you're kind of bent all the way over anyway, and that was not very impressive at all because I almost fell over. And then when we were done and they called us up to like walk across the stage because that's how they determine who wins is
Right.
by applause.
Yeah,
And-
I go there almost every other Thursday night. I've been there last 3 weeks.
Oh yeah, and we did get some applause. People were nice, but someone was like, "Practice in your shoes," and I wanted to be like, "Fuck you, bitch! You want to wear these fuckers?
You should have done that. You
Come
probably would
over
have gotten
here.
more applause.
I'm gonna crack your head open with my stiletto."
You probably would have gotten more applause if you had bounced out with
You
that.
would. You would.
I mean, it's
I
drag
know.
queen behavior.
I should have, but I was just kind of embarrassed because that was my very first time competing there. And one time I did compete, like as a dancer, just doing my belly dancing, and I got second, which I was surprised about. So I got like, I don't know, what is it, $25 for second place or something?
Yeah.
But I made like $40 in tips, so I was like, money in the bank.
See, I was thinking about I've only done drag once, and it was as a drag queen,
Mm-hmm.
and I always do like the worst drag possible because it's funny to see me in a dress with a full beard and a horrible wig, not even trying, and doing my own makeup, which is even scarier. I
Why
think
even
that-
bother with the makeup at that point if you're just gonna have the beard anyway?
Well, my name is I go by Miss Ginger Fuck.
Mine
So-
was androgynous.
So, I mean, I did it at you first, but I was thinking about doing it for the Transmigration group, going to S4 on an amateur night and doing horrible drag for charity. And basically, all the money that I get goes to the Transmigration group. But I wasn't sure how well that would go over just being a complete goofball, or if I should be serious and just go as me as a guy.
I think one of you should like get someone else to go as well to see who gets more money. Like you goofing off, and then somebody in our group that probably knows what they're doing.
We should
To
do a
actually be
duet.
serious. Yeah.
A duet, yes.
Yes.
Something by Savage Garden. No, wait, that'd be guys. We could do anything by Kesha.
Beyonce. I'm just kidding.
I don't know Beyonce. I've never been a Beyonce fan.
All the single ladies.
I've
all
been a
single
fan of
Oh
her
ladies.
God,
ass.
no! Stop. Sorry.
Whoa, oh, 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 oh.
I'm just so glad they stopped playing that song everywhere. It was like 2 years of that same song.
Over and over
I
and
understand.
over again.
It was like whip your hair back and forth. Only
I whip
longer.
my hair back and forth. I whip my hair. I can't even do that.
They even played that at my store meeting once, at Whole Foods. I was very. Like,
And then you committed suicide.
And
No,
apparently
because we
Shauna
don't
has 9
promote-
lives.
We do not promote suicide, of course. Ooh. Well, yeah. So, but I didn't know they allowed duets either. So that's even that.
At
gives
Whole
me a
Foods?
lot. No. Although I have jokingly, because we play music in the back of the kitchen, like we'll have like whatever's playing. Like somebody puts their phone on this big speaker, and we listen to music while we're working. Well, a couple of times Whitney Houston has gone on, and I've just, pretended to be singing it.
That's
Do
your
a-
best Whitney Houston impression.
Do a little. Well, I mean, I'm much better when the music's on and I'm goofing off. But I had everybody on the floor laughing because it was just so ridiculous.
I
me-
think they were laughing at you.
Well, exactly.
At, not with.
There is a difference in vocabulary here.
Well, I think at me would have been if I was trying to be serious about it.
True.
But it was very obvious that I was not. So it was more like with.
They didn't know that.
Oh no, we thought you were
Being serious.
so funny. Ah. Sorry, I'll stop. Crack.
Anyway,
Anyway,
it's pretty interesting. That's cool. Sheesh.
oh my God, look at the time. Wow, that's all the time we have for today. Thank you for joining us on this lovely. I forgot the date again. I never remember the
It's the
date. As soon-
21st.
21st. Like every time I put on the headphones, I forget what date it is, and I don't know why I keep on making an effort on every show to like say the date. I don't know why.
Well, it's Tuesday, the 21st, and it's a beautiful sunny day outside.
Yes, and I'm gonna play y'all out with my song.
Woohoo.
This feeling inside me. You are the sweetest story. You are a love so true. I wanna hold my kisses and give them all to you. We look different and we laugh different and we love different than you. You might say to find another, but we'll say we've got each other. Each other is enough to make it through. I love our late night laughter. You are the only one who takes me